Hola, awesome people, and welcome back to what is the official final Pokemon Sun and Moon discussion podcast, just a couple of days before the game's release. Now, I did say I was going to do another podcast because I had to make a bit of amendments to my last podcast because I forgot to mention a few things, quite some major things actually. But not only that, we got our final trailer for Pokemon Sun and Moon, pretty much just wrapping up the information that we're going to get before the game's release. Unless, of course, you're one of those people who have just gone off and looked at the data mine stuff, and from there I'm going to say, I just don't want to know. Power to you for knowing everything beforehand and playing it beforehand, but at the moment, I just don't want to know, so just no spoilers, please. So yeah, just on that topic, of course, just having said that as well, there will be no spoilers in this podcast as per usual. So nothing in regards to the data mines or anything like that. This is just me speculating before jumping into the game. Anyways, guys, let's just jump straight into it. So one of the things I forgot to mention in the previous podcast was the Poké Finder. Now, this was shown off in the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo, and pretty much this is kind of a return of Pokemon Snap. Everyone's been asking for a continuation of Pokemon Snap, which has actually kind of baffled me in a way. I could never have fathomed so many people wanting Pokemon Snap. It was quite a simple game, as I said in my short play of Pokemon Snap. But it is pretty cool that we are getting a throwback to Pokemon Snap. Except we're getting it in a more realistic way, which is really cool. So some of the features of the Pokemon Finder is it'll tell you when there's a Pokemon around. It'll then allow you to go in, and as you might have already gathered from what I've already said, you can take photos of the Pokemon. But the side effect of this is, of course, some Pokemon will actually turn around and attack you. So in one of the trailers, I do believe they had the Poké Finder out and you're snapping a photo of a Dragonite. So whether or not this is a way of encountering a wild Dragonite, which has been possible in the previous games, I think Heart Gold, Soul Silver, there was a possibility of flying a Dragonite through a Super Rod, and I do believe it was the same method in Pokemon Black and White 2, I do believe. Don't quote me on that one. So if this is the way of getting Dragonite, then say farewell to all the grinding that you have to do normally to get a Dragonite. But at the same time, it is pretty cool. Again, I will not mention what the demo did with this. It's kind of similar to what I've explained there, where you take a photo of a Pokemon, it attacks. It's pretty cool, I will admit that. I'm quite interested to see how this actually plays a role in the actual games. If the Poké Finder will be a way of encountering extremely rare Pokemon that you will not be able to find in normal conditions, whereas like walking through grass or shaking grass, horde battles, whatever. So hoping that's a way of utilizing the Poké Finder. That'd be really cool if they do. Alright, so the next thing I forgot to mention was, as I said, this was kind of a big one, Professor Samson, who is Professor Oak's cousin. This kind of blew everyone's mind. It was like, oh wow, we have a relative Professor Oak. And my reaction was neato. So that's all we really know about Professor Samson. As I said, we just know he's a relative of Professor Oak who's visiting, I do believe, the Alola region, or he works there or something. I don't have the information up in front of me, unfortunately. This is just going off the top of my head. But that's for you to know. Enjoy. Alright, so the other major thing that I forgot to mention, and this was mainly because I ran out of time in the previous podcast, was the Battle Tree, I do believe it's called. And what's so major about this is we're getting the return of some major characters. We are getting, drum roll please, that was a dreadful drum roll. We're getting Red, Blue, Wally, and Cynthia returning to the Battle Tree. So they're coming back with a Singlish Pokemon. Red's coming back with his Pikachu, and I think he's coming back with his Charizard, I do believe. Blue is obviously coming back, and I can't remember who he was shown with. I think it was his Pidgeot. Wally's coming back with his Mega Glade, which was shown in Pokemon Oris. That will be in an Ultra Ball as well, which was pretty interesting because the Glade in Oris obviously was in a Pokeball, so not too sure what happened between Oris and Sun and Moon, if he's got himself a brand new Glade or he's just caught a brand new one or rebred one. That's interesting. But anyways, the last one, of course, is Cynthia, who is returning with her Garchomp. Now, one thing I did notice about the Battle Tree and what they showed off, which was very brief, was they all had 3 Pokemon. And all I can think is that this Battle Tree better not be Battle Tower. Please, for the love of God, let it not be Battle Tower. I am sick of Battle Tower. Where is my Battle Frontier? I nearly forgot the name of it. No, I want my Battle Frontier. I don't want Battle Tower. I'm sick of it. So anyways, another thing as well, if it is going on the tradition of Battle Tower from Pokemon X and Y and all that, we did have the return of the multi-battles as well. So that's where you can go through and you can ask one of the NPCs like Cynthia, Wally, Red or Blue to be your partner. Which is kind of cool because I did experiment with this in X and Y and Oris. It was a really cool idea, but honestly, I still want the Battle Frontier. I sunk so many hours into Battle Frontier for it to not return in Oris, which made me disappointed. I do believe that was due to time constraints. But I really want it in Sun and Moon. Please don't disappoint me. As you can tell, I really love my Battle Frontier, but it won't dampen my love for Sun and Moon if we still got the Battle Tower. I'll still make use of it somehow for grinding BP. So yeah, this does beg the question though, is there any other returning characters besides these guys, like Steven for example, some other big names like Wallace, or I'm trying to think of some other ones, Aldor, Iris, any of those other big names you can think of. Are they making a return, or are these just the main ones we're getting back? Because it would be really cool to see a lot of the old familiar faces come back. I mean, heck, I've even wanted at one stage to see all the villains come back, like Giovanni, Maxie, Archie, Cyrus, Getsus, N, even though he's an anti-hero in a way. I mean, it still would be cool to see him come back. I mean, heck, even seeing Lysander come back would be really cool as well. But it might be a bit contradictory to his timeline, I do believe. Yeah, the ultimate weapon exploding with him inside of it. I think that's how it went down. That's how they showed it off anyway. But it would be pretty interesting to seeing Lysander come back from the dead. I mean, heck, even bringing AZ back or something would be really cool. Just like some way of having reoccurring characters come back would be just an awesome throwback. So yeah, I don't think there was anything else I was supposed to really just go over. I was supposed to be just kind of making these really brief because I wanted to focus on our recent trailer. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyways, let's move on to our recent trailer. So I'm kind of hoping this is going to be a really quick podcast because all the information's been out there for a while, and because I've been such a slow start Regigigas on this, yeah, so right, let's go on to our recent trailer. So the recent trailer was quite interesting, actually. So we got to see our Z moves for our starter Pokemon, which I kind of guessed was going to happen all along in regards to the starter Pokemon getting their own exclusive Z moves. And our exclusive Z moves actually look really cool. So we have Sinister Arrow Raid, which is Dexyai's Z move. We have Malicious Moonsault, which bloody looks awesome in its animation. I seriously cannot wait to use that in-game for Incinerator. And then we get to Primera. I'm sorry, Game Freak, but I gotta criticize you on this one. This is probably the second Dragon Ball reference you have made in your Pokemon Sun and Moon trailers or games so far. I do believe everyone was saying Zygarde Final Form was a Dragon Ball reference, but Oceanic Operator, while it is a cool idea of the way that Primera dances around and all that, and summons a massive water bubble using its singing voice, very similar to how sirens work in mythology. But I'm sorry, but the way you did it looks like the Spirit Bomb from Dragon Ball. I was just watching the trailer, I'm like, wow, this doesn't remind me of Dragon Ball Z or anything. But yeah, Oceanic Operator is Primera's Z move. All of them do look really cool, I have to give them back, but I still have to kind of laugh at Oceanic Operator for Primera. Along with that as well, we did get additional information about the Z moves, so I'm going to have to read this just directly straight from the info, because I'm not going to paraphrase this anyway. So anyways, we got both attack moves and status moves can be turned into Z moves, but very different effects. Z moves based on attack moves have greater power than regular moves, but the specific power of the move depends on the original move that was turned into a Z move. And we saw this in the demo as well. Thunderbolt came something like 165 base power compared to Nuzzle, which dropped to about 90 base power with the Z move on Pikachu. At the same time as well, they can hit through Protect and Detect, but reduced power. So yes, this was one thing I asked quite a couple of podcasts ago when we were first talking about the Z moves was, can they hit through Protect and Detect? Yes, they can, with the Side effect, though, of reduced power. To how much, though, I would say somewhere between 20% to 50% drop. It's usually what they tend to do is between that range. But it will be interesting to see how much of an effect this will have, especially on the doubles format for VGC, since Protect is quite common. But also, having said that as well, given that we've seen so many anti-priority abilities or moves, Protect may be non-existent in our current meta for VGC. You'll just need to wait and see for who are the main offenders in VGC. Protect may still stick around, but if it does, Z moves may actually have a bit of effect there since it can bypass it, making some really serious plays there if someone decides to bring a Z move there. And also considering the fact that Z moves can only be used once per battle, you can try and facade it for something like I-10 to 1 Muscle Band and Wise Glasses. You could try and facade for that, or have something like some of your type move up ones. As I'm kind of improvising here and it's not working. I'm not on the ball at the moment. So yeah, as I said, the original point was it'd be nice to see how the VGC meta does change with this particular effect. Continuing on with the Z move stuff. Z moves based on status moves power up the status move, providing additional effects such as raising its own stats or healing the next Pokemon to swap in. So that can be a thing. If it does provide additional effects, like if you're using Sword Dance for example, will it raise even more, like make it a +2 into a +3 for a Sword Dance? If it goes +4, then that is extremely scary. But that is also interesting to take in as well, is the additional effects that they could be bringing to the table. Again, Z moves could be actually making quite an effect on VGC if they're quite a decent effect. So as long as it's not doubling, like I know Sword Dance can be used on a few Pokemon, I know Garchomp can utilize it, Bishop can utilize it as well. There probably is a few others, but I can't think of them at the top of my head again. If it makes it and there goes English as well, wow. If it goes from like a +2 to a +3, or maybe not double that, go to +4, it'd be pushing it if it made it like a +6. If it made it that, then yeah, that's just OP. That can really just bugger off there. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see just what exactly this is going to do on our metas. Not only VGC as well, but for Smogon singles as well. This is really going to be interesting. Could be a few Pokemon switching formats if this can obviously complement the Pokemon as well. Obviously a lot of Pokemon can use certain Z moves, but the question will be, will it complement them in certain situations? Again, going back to the point that Z moves are quite gimmicky in regards to how situational they are. So it as I said, very interesting to see how Z moves make an effect on the metagame. Obviously, Mega Evolutions, when that was introduced in Pokemon X and Y, made a huge impact on the game in regards to breaking VGC and making Smogon quite confused for a while in regards to putting Pokemon in their Mega Evolutions. Heck, even now we're having like suspect tests on Sableye-ites with Mega Sableye in regards to should it be an OU, which I don't know why they're doing it now when we're going into Sun and Moon in like 3 days, so that'll be interesting how that turns out. Alright, so one other thing before I go into like the major thing that we had for the trailer was, I know a lot of people want to hear this, and especially the people from the UK, so we also got an announcement that a special QR code for Magina will be available to all Power Region games, so that's Europe and Australia, or anyone who is in the Power Region. Can't remember who else is in the Power Region. But if you have the Pokemon TV app, I suggest you download it right now if you're from Australia or Europe, because starting from December 6th, all Power Region games will get the QR code for Magina. Magina comes at level 50, holds a bottle cap, and knows Field Cannon, Flash Cannon, Lucky Chant, and Helping Hand, caught in a Cherish Ball, and has a Wishing Ribbon. So yeah, that's just kind of a PA to everyone in the Power Region, especially UK and Australia. Get the Pokemon TV out now because you don't really want to miss this one. As in regards to the American players, no announcement has been made for you guys yet in regards to this event. So I'd probably say would get some type of announcement in regards to that in the next couple of days or just a little bit after the game's release. Speaking of events though, this is kind of just a reminder. For those who have not picked up the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo, I highly suggest you do. you'll get the Ashgra Ninja that way. All you do is just have your game, hard copy game plugged in and transfer your Ashgra Ninja from the demo to your final official copy. And for those who are getting the game straight off the bat, I do believe it's available to everyone, not just to those who pre-ordered Pokemon Sun and Moon. You do also get the Munchlax, who holds the Snorlaxium Z Crystal. So we have quite a lot of events straight off the bat, and it would not surprise me there's going to be a few others as well as the as we go into like December or January as well. We'll get more announced, and it would not surprise me there's quite a few mythical event Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Probably say 3 or 4 of them. That tends to be how many we get per generation. So this will be really interesting in regards to the first mythical Pokemon being available straight off the bat. I mean, heck, we didn't even get the Auntie until like 6 months after Pokemon X and Y, so I'll try and keep you guys up to date in regards to those events. Alright, so the other things we got announced was our next Alolan region Pokemon. Yes, I can finally talk about it because it's been officially released. Alright, so everyone who played the demo would be aware of this Pokemon already, but we got the Alolan region Diglett and Dugtrio, and oh my goodness, these guys are hilarious! Oh my god, I didn't think they could do something so comical with Diglett. I mean, it's quite comical as it is. It's a mole, and it has like little feet. I think it's like little feet, or I forgot what it looked like again. There's like a part in the anime where Brock picks up a Diglett, and it's got little feet or something. Anyways, so Diglett now has hair. It kind of looks like fangirl groupies when it evolves into Dugtrio. I don't know, it's hilarious. But we gotta top it off with the fact that it does go from a pure ground type to ground steel, and they can have either Sandveil or the new ability, Tangling Hair, an ability which lowers the speed of a Pokemon that makes contact with it by 1 stage. Kind of sounds like Gui in a way, but it's just called Tangled Hair. Another example of like renaming abilities that have similar abilities to another ability. So that's something. So yeah, this was like in the Pokemon demo as well, but I never got the event to trigger, but then again my time froze because I don't know why. I never changed my time, I swear. So that was a thing. But yeah, Alolan, Diglett and Dugtrio, that's a thing. There was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah. More game exclusive Pokemon have been announced as well. So at the moment, these are the version exclusives that we are aware of. So for Pokemon Sun, for those who are picking that up, we have Tortonator, Alolan Vulpix and Passman are exclusive to that version. And as for Pokemon Moon exclusives, we have Drampa, Alolan Sandshrew and Orangakuru are exclusive to Pokemon Moon. Also on the topic of those 2 particular games, they also mentioned as well that Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon are 12 hours apart. So if you're playing during the day on Pokemon Sun, obviously it will be daytime. Whereas if you play Pokemon Moon during the day, it will be nighttime, and vice versa. So Pokemon Sun during the night will be nighttime, and for Pokemon Moon, and during the night, it will be suntime, I do believe, or if they're going to do it vice versa, whereas... okay, this has just hurt my brain. Okay, that hurt. But that's how I do believe it is happening, but I know someone's going to correct me and be like, oh, I've played the official game and you're incorrect. Don't spoil it for me, but if I am incorrect on that one, just let me know, but that's how I speculated it anyways. So that's another thing. Anyways, let's go on to the last point that's like mind-boggled me again, and yeah, it's Ultra Beast time again. The thing that always mind-boggles me. Alright, so in the last trailer, we had 2 Ultra Beasts revealed. We had Ultra Beast 3, Lightning, as an Ultra Beast that's shown using Discharge, and that is all we know about it. Even the official website had no details on this thing. And Ultra Beast 5, Glutton, an Ultra Beast that is an astounding appetite and will completely devour anything in front of its eyes. It is said that it devours not only objects but the ground, rivers and even the seas. There is a belief that it converts the abnormal amount it eats entirely into energy to sustain itself, leaving no waste product behind. That is scary. It eats everything. Kind of like Snorlax times 10. And to make it even worse, Snorlax just eats, I think it was 100 kilos or something like that, or 3 times his body weight, and then falls asleep. whereas this thing converts everything it eats into energy, providing itself more energy so it can keep eating more things. That's even more scarier when you put it that way. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So without a doubt that thing's going to have the glutton ability. Lightning will probably have the lightning rod ability. That's kind of goes without saying. Still interesting though. I do like the idea of glutton. It does look really cool, whereas lightning is a bit, wow, this is a bit whacked out. So that's all we really know about these two Ultra Beasts. But not only that, Korokoro came out. I'm not sure, I haven't really looked at the Korokoro leak. But Korokoro came out and they had two images of Ultra Beasts and they had question marks next to them. As I said, not too sure if they're the same Ultra Beasts shown in the trailer, but if they're not, then we've got two other Ultra Beasts that we're unaware of at this point in time. But also saying that as well, we do have one more Ultra Beast. It's, I'm not even sure if it is an Ultra Beast. It could very well be, just another Pokemon that we're not aware of. So it's, actually, this is kind of an interesting Pokemon as well. And I was going to look something up before I went into this podcast, but I completely forgot. So last bit's going to be improvised. So this mysterious black Pokemon, no details were given at all, no name, no ability or whatever, no screen, no gameplay or anything, but it's got the head of Samurott, it's got the arms of Ember, and I'm going to speculate and say it's got the legs of Superior, even though Superior's got no legs, so it's got something of Superior. I don't know, but that's the first thing I noticed was it had Samurott's head. It's like, oh wait, I know that Pokemon's head. Why has it got Samurott's head? Why has it got Ember's arms and I don't know about its legs? That was the first thing I noticed, but hey, you guys might have some other theories, but hey, at least at the same time, I did criticize about how much information has been brought out already in regards to spoiling, let's say, half the Pokédex already for Pokemon Sun and Moon, whereas I could have discovered that part, but at least they're keeping some type of I guess discovery or imagination left before the game comes out for those of us who don't want to jump into the data mining stuff and all that. At least I can give them that. So I'm quite interested to see what this Pokemon is because it really has sparked my imagination in regards to what this is. I mean, as I said, I see Samurott head, Ember's arms, and don't know what its legs is. I'm so sorry. So that's really intriguing. I have to give them that. Other than that, there kind of is nothing else. I already knew I covered most of this. So that's going to be a thing. So there was like one other thing I said I was going to cover, and that was like VGC 17 and what I thought of it so far. Oh, yes, there was something else I was going to talk about. It just came back to me then. So there's like a few things that have come out. So I was going to talk about VGC 17 first. So VGC 17 has all the details have come out. So it's been given some really, well, in my opinion, some very beneficial updates to it. So VGC 17 contains the Alolan Dex only. Ashka Ninja is banned. I do believe it's been considered a mythical Pokemon based purely on its stats, so that's a good thing. So anything that can be caught in Pokemon Sun and Moon is eligible for VGC 17. Any Pokemon that has to be transferred through Pokebank is illegal. So no Thundurus, no Landorus. Ooh, yeah. I don't need to see them for a whole year. That is such good news, by the way. I'm really happy about that. So that's the best thing I've heard for a long time. Also, as well, they've introduced the chess timers. So 10 minutes is given to a player. That's all good and dandy. I mean, heck, VGC battles for me normally don't take more than 5 minutes, but what they're doing here is you have 60 seconds to choose your move, very similar to chess. You choose your move, time pauses, and then you go through. But 10 minutes isn't for like the overall game or how long it goes out. It goes by 10 minutes of selecting your move. Each time you get through and select your moves faster, you get a bit of extra time to think about your moves. Which is excellent for people like me who just go, yep, I'm doing this move, doing this move, doing this move, and then when it comes to a situation where it might be game changing, I'm like, okay, I've got to think here for a second, got to think, alright, this move. Whereas people who want a time stall, that's hopefully no longer a thing. So hopefully that counteracts time stalling. I really hope it does, because it means I can time stall for 60 seconds, but they can only do 10 minutes worth of it. So I'm really eager to really test out this new format. And I was like, probably a few other things that they've mentioned, but the chess timer and the lower decks were probably the two main things I had to talk about in regards to VGC. So yes, I am very excited for the VGC format. I'm also excited for the two other things. First off, we have the QR codes for team building. Now, this is very similar to rentals, and I'm really glad they've brought this in actually, because I've actually said for quite some time, even though I hate rental Pokemon, I suck at them. I've sucked at it since Pokemon Stadium. I can't do rental Pokemon. Used to be able to as a kid, but as I've grown up, gotten used to my own Pokemon, can't do rentals at all. I'm garbage at it. But they've now allowed it that if you have a global link, you can QR code a team and then use that team for yourself. The only times you cannot use it is obviously in ranked VGC. I think there might be one other exception to this. As I said, can't remember off the top of my head. So that means I can go through, I can QR code a team that I have used and I want to share it with you guys. You guys can QR code it, and that means you guys can use it in Wi-Fi battles, local battles, and in free battles, I do believe, for Battle Spot. That's as far as you go. Which is really cool, which means anyone who doesn't know how to competitive breed, like IV breed or EV train properly, etc., etc., it means you can go on, you can QR code a team. Heck, you even go through and test out a team or test out Pokemon before you even breed them, which is even better. So let someone else do all the hard work breeding up the Pokemon, and then you can try it out and then test it, see if you like it, see if there's anything else you want to change with it, and then go through, breed with it, knowing that it will actually work, or if it doesn't work, you can then think about something else to train up or something. But this is really cool, the fact that you can actually rely on other people to make teams for you, which is awesome. I'm just afraid, though, that people control somehow or just abuse this option. I'm just trying to think, is there a way that people can abuse this? Which is going to be unfortunate if that's going to be the case. But no, I'm actually personally looking forward to this myself, because it means if there's a team that I want to share with you guys or something, or I could turn a Wi-Fi Wednesday into including like a QR code where you guys can scan it, use the team that I've used in that Wi-Fi Wednesday, especially when it comes to like my free battle teams that I do. Often I do these really gimmicky teams. I have people asking for like IVs, EVs and all that on the particular Pokemon. I actually had all the info up for Wi-Fi Wednesday Live, but it means I can do that, but I can also provide a QR code, so if you guys are interested, you can scan it and use that exact team that you saw in Wi-Fi Wednesday and use it for yourself. And then, as I said, you can go from there. If it works and you like it, you can breed it yourself, and it should give you all the details in regards to like what moves they have, their stats, all that other good stuff. So I definitely like this feature, the fact that it will help people who do not know how to breed or EV train, etc., anything to do with that at all. It means they're not left out at all when it comes to competitive battling. They can just QR rent a team and then use it for themselves. I'm thinking that's how it works anyways. I'm not sure if we get the ability to post QR codes or if it's coming straight from Game Freak themselves. Really hoping it's not, we get to post them. That'll be awesome, because it means I can share teams with you guys. The other thing that I'm really excited for is people can now create their own tournaments through Global Link. Now, I don't have the full details in regards to this, but I'm really hoping it includes eligible Pokemon to use, so you can go through and choose which Pokemon are eligible or which ones are illegal, and create your own custom tournaments. So from there, people just QR code to join, and they go through and then battle other people who have QR code to join in as well, which can open up to quite a lot of things as well, because it could mean I could open it up for a tournament and say, look, you can have to use the QR code for this team only, which can then do like multiple other things as well, or just go in and say, look, these Pokemon are allowed only, go at it and have fun. So maybe I might be able to utilize this custom tournament thing for like a channel based thing, whereas I go through for like a month, had a tournament open, and then had the chance to show off and preview people's battles and all that, given like some type of community thing going on. That's another thing as well. So again, kind of focusing on both allowing people who are beginners to join in the fun, and not only that, creating some type of community for people as well. So I could open up my own community, Pimnut can open up his own community and have people coming in for tournaments. It is really cool, so that is awesome. The unity is coming together. Finally, it's only taken 20 years. Oh wow, but hey, I gotta applaud him for that. That is awesome. I seriously am looking forward to the QR code things. Just sharing it with people and allowing them to get a taste of competitive battling. If they like it, it's awesome because it means they can go on and hopefully learn how to competitive breed and all that. Heck, even just using teams that other people have provided is still excellent experience for people because it means they can use other Pokemon they haven't personally bred and see if they can actually try and adapt to someone else's moveset style. And that about does it. Oh wow, I've gone for 10 minutes shorter than I normally do. Yes, that's a new achievement for these podcasts. So yes, that's the final Pokemon Sun and Moon podcast. I so hope I have not forgotten a topic. If I have, I am not covering it. Anything that hasn't been covered is going to be forgotten because I'm kind of over these Pokemon Sun and Moon podcast. Especially the fact we're already 3 days away from the game's release. So, Hype Train is approaching the station. So hopefully this game is really awesome, despite the fact of how much they've already revealed about the game. So I will probably... sorry, I gotta do one little PA though. I will be posting the game straight off the bat on the 18th, which is the Friday. Could be 17th for those in America. So if you feel that you don't want to be spoiled straight off the bat, you just want to play through by yourself, don't want to be spammed by lots and lots of videos, feel free to unsubscribe from my channel for whatever time until you've beaten the game and then come back at your own leisure, because there will be a lot of Pokemon Sun and Moon videos up on my channel. I will put the PA up again. PSA, that's the word I'm looking for. Public service announcement. Sorry, I'm half asleep. I've worked all day. That will be going up again as another reminder just the day before Pokemon Sun and Moon comes out, so don't fret if you forget. Just want to put that out there anyway. But yes, I will be doing a just spam upload of Pokemon Sun and Moon. So I thought I'd get out there now. That's happening. Feel free to do whatever. If you want to avoid the spoilers, just feel free to unsubscribe. I'm not going to be angry. So yeah, I rambled on again. Sorry, I was supposed to shorten that up. So yeah, after Pokemon Sun and Moon has happened, I will probably do another podcast just giving my thoughts and feelings about Pokemon Sun and Moon. And we'll go from there. So anyways, guys, until next time, this is Lady KrimZen saying ciao for now, but not forever. Ciao.